Well, hello, Landa. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Where are you? Are you in SoCal?
Yes, I'm in Southern California, Los Angeles.
I bet it's hot.
It's like 100. Yeah.
Oh, that's hot. That's why you're
Yeah.
inside. Do you have air conditioning, I hope?
Central air. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So, I'm not sure how I ran across you, but I thought it was interesting that you were a pet detective, and I thought, boy, a lot of people would want to hear about what you do. So, can you explain what you do as a pet detective?
Yes. Well, I like to think of myself as a bloodhound handler. That
Okay.
is, I use my bloodhounds to help find lost pets.
Okay.
Done it for 17 years in all over California, and we have gone out of state also.
Oh,
And I started with people search and rescue for a couple years, and people kept calling in to help find their lost pets. And I, didn't know if it could be done or not. So I did try, and it's doable. So I started doing that instead because the state won't pay the search and rescue teams, unfortunately. So, um, and plus I can help people, with closure on their pets a lot of times, and it's very rewarding.
oh, wow. Okay, so what inspired you to do this?
Um, I wanted to spend more time with my dog, my first bloodhound, and I was managing many apartment complexes in California, and it was
Oh,
very grueling, and the people were very negative, and I'm really positive and very confrontational. They were very confrontational, which I'm not. So it gave me an outlet to find something, um, to do with my dog. And I was watching Animal Planet one day, and I saw a woman, actually one of my mentors, doing find using her bloodhound to find lost pets. And I thought, well, that is a really good idea. So ever then I started doing that.
so how did you find a place that taught that?
Well, it's the same premise as searching for lost people. It's exact same training. And I just, joined, like I say, I was already in the search and rescue team, the people search and rescue team in Southern
Okay.
California. So I just used the exact same formula to help for pets. It's the exact same thing. You give the bloodhound something that smells like the pet, collar, leash, bedding, fur, pretty much anything that they've slept on or laid on, and ask them to find the pet. And like I say, just like lost people, they do the same thing.
Wow, how interesting. And so do you have a team that you're with, or you just do it alone with your pet?
No, I did have Annalisa. I believe that's how you found me to begin with, Annalisa Burns.
Okay.
And yeah, her and I were a team for 17 years. We had a big lot of search dogs. We had many search dogs,
Oh,
but he has, recently moved out of state and is not doing this anymore. So I'm pretty much on my own, but I have all my dogs. So we are a team.
wow. So how many dogs do you have?
I have three bloodhounds and one Jack Russell Terrier.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And so how often do you go out and search for lost pets?
I could go out every day if I wanted, but it's very physical, very challenging, and I'm more picky on what case I want to help with because first of all, I want to be sure I can help. I'm not into people's money. I want to go into a safe area. I'm not going to go hiking off into the woods or in the Mojave Desert, after a greyhound. So I usually am, and plus now it's 100 degrees, although I wake
Right.
up at 3:30 or 4 in the morning. I have to go very early in the morning. I'm working 2 or 3 days a week. Sometimes, like I say, it's more, but in the summer, I have to limit it because of the heat.
Okay. So when people's pets are lost, do they come to you immediately, or have they gone out and put flyers out and exhausted every other thing before they contact you, or do people sometimes contact you right away because they know about you?
It's half and half. A lot of people will contact me right away and I give them immediate advice because I don't deploy immediately. I'm not a 24/7 service where I can just, rush out the door. They're like I said, I can only go very early in the morning. I have to give them a plan of action. Most people are waiting about 5 to 7 days until they felt they have exhausted a lot of what they were able to do or what they knew to do, and then they start looking for other resources, and then they call me. So it's usually about 5 to 7 days. Sometimes it's a couple weeks.
And do you say to them, have you done this? Have you tried this? Have you tried this?
Yes, I do interview them, and I, ask what they've been able to do and what their results were. And I interview them about whether it's a lost cat or a dog. I just found a tortoise and a ferret last month, or I didn't find it. My dogs found them.
A tortoise and a ferret?
Yes, ferret. Yeah, we were able to find them alive, thank heavens.
Were they together?
No, these are separate.
Oh, okay. I thought that'd be interesting. They escaped together.
Interesting. So that that's what it is. I forget the question, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was gonna say, since you spoke about a tortoise and a ferret, I was gonna ask you, do you only do dogs and cats? But apparently not.
No, I've been called. I just got called out to do a cow.
A cow?
Some type of a champion cow wandered away from the herd. But that's way up north. I'm not going to do that. I've been called for Bigfoot. I've been called.
Really?
Gold. Yeah, I've been called to find gold.
To find gold?
Yeah.
Missing gold?
Yeah. Famous gold hunter approached me last year and said that, he knew where the gold was, but he couldn't exactly pinpoint it. And, dogs helped. It was like in the mountains of South Dakota somewhere. And if my dogs helped, I could have a lot of the gold, but, I'm not going to do that. I'm not prepared for that. And a chimpanzee, have been called from the zoo, but I'm not going to go after a chimpanzee. They can be dangerous. So snakes, I've gone after snakes.
Really? And you found them?
No.
You weren't able to find the snake.
No. I targeted a search area. I think they were able to find it after I did that. And we found an iguana a couple months ago. So
an iguana. Wow. Yeah. We
get a call for a lot of different animals, not just dogs or cats.
Oh my gosh, you have the most interesting job in the whole world.
Interesting. It's difficult though. It's not like the movies, like you get out, walk up, and you find the pet. It's just not that.
Yeah, it probably takes days sometimes.
Well, I search in the mornings. We have been hired for days. We've been hired for a month. But usually it's just a morning, a couple hours in the morning. I don't need days to find a cat. I usually can pretty much at this point in my career get a direction of travel and target a search area or find the cat within a couple of hours. A lot of time. Now, if you were looking for like a horse or something like that, then you would need days, but I'm not set up for that at this point.
Yeah. Would you, if it's not summer, would you go out during the day too, later in the day, or
no,
just in the mornings?
I always go out at dawn. It's quiet. There's less traffic, less dog walkers. Scent is lowest on the ground early in the morning. I want to give the owners and the pets, the best chance, and my dogs too, the best chance possible.
Wow. So the scent is better early in the morning.
Early in the morning, some areas they would do nighttime searches. The scent will go back down on, rehydrate on the ground in the evening, but I'm not set up for night searches either. I think the search dog handlers are superstitious, so we like to, stick to our format, and I like going at dawn.
Yeah. So why is the scent better in the morning?
It rehydrates. It'll go back down onto the ground, and the dew comes up and rehydrate onto the grass and the bases of the trees and along the cracks of the cement, and because it's cooler. Scent does not like heat. Scent likes coolness. Yeah.
How interesting.
Cool, moist conditions is what is good for scent.
Okay. So has anybody ever asked you to find a pet that's been missing for a long time? And do you search for somebody or an animal that's been missing for a long time?
Not with my search dogs. The longest trail I've ever done was 4 weeks, and that is long. That's not typical at all. I do not advise it. I definitely tell the people that is too long of a time, but some people just really want me to try. I actually did walk up and find remains. So we were able to but usually it's under 3 weeks.
Under
Now,
3 weeks.
I can help people up to a year on the phone. I give phone consultations also. I just had a phone consultation about 3 or 4 months ago. The girl had lost her cat for a year, and I gave her things to do. And believe it or not, she found the cat that week. So I wouldn't give up. A lot of people give up way too soon. They're not aggressive enough. It's hard. It's, they avoid the grief and they just don't know what else they can do. They hand out flyers, they go on Facebook, they talk to the neighbors, and they just, and they think they've done everything. And it's really a shame because they haven't even started. And I try to tell people that. That's why I do offer consultations. Annalisa and I wrote a lost cat recovery guide and a lost dog recovery guide.
Really?
Sell for very, inexpensive. And then, of course, I always tell people there's a lot of free information on the internet everywhere.
Yeah.
So, it just depends. Unfortunately, with the search dogs, if they want to use them, it depends on the budget. Because, I risk the dogs every time I go out on a search. They've been attacked by loose dogs. They've been injured. So, I'm risking the dogs, and the training is very intense. It takes a long time to train the dog. So
how long does it take to train the dog?
well, it depends if you know what you're doing and you do need a partner. My first dog, it took me 18 months, although she would have been ready way sooner than that. I was unsure. My second dog, it took 8 months. And then my third and fourth dog, it took 3 or 4 months. But that's training every day with a partner.
For how long? How long every day does it take?
An hour or two, maybe twice a day.
Okay. I thought maybe it was like 8 hours a day for 4 to 8 months.
We have trained 8 and 9 hour days many, many times, but because we had so many dogs. So we trained on. So we have had many, definitely hours and hours and days of training. We probably have 100,000 hours in the training of each dog. And I'm not kidding.
Oh my gosh, they must be in good shape.
Yeah, we all are. We're pretty much in good shape. Unless they're injured, where my one dog's injured, I'm injured. So it's very physical.
What is the hardest case you've ever had?
I mean, they're all hard because it's emotional. The people, they explain, a lot of people feel the lost pet is just like a lost child, very, a lot of people don't have children. Their pets are their children. I mean, not really one case comes to mind. Probably the terrain is what makes it hard. Would be a lot of traffic where you have to go to each intersection because you can't go across the street, safely, or maybe a wooded area where it's more dangerous. There's more predators. You could get lost or turned around. We get poison ivy. You can't get access to a lot of areas and a lot of homes. California has got strict trespassing laws. So you have to, pick and choose, I think, your case. And it's really all difficult. I know a difficult one. Okay. Before Annalisa moved, I think in January, we went on a case. It was a lost cat. And when I got on scene, I told Annalisa, I go, this is impossible. I'd already given up. But we had our full team. The reason I say that is because it was a cat, and the homes are, very close together, and they're gated front and back. There's really nowhere for the search dogs to go.
Right.
The best to do is try to target at 5:30 in the morning. You're not knocking on doors, explaining what you're doing, having the people let you in the house. No, it doesn't, in the yards. It doesn't work that way. It would waste the whole time. So and not only that, but behind the homes, it was a very steep hill leading into another neighborhood. And I was just, like I said, right away, I told Anna, oh, don't be negative like that. I'm like, oh my God, it's so impossible. But anyway, I got out my first Bloodhound, and I could tell that she wanted to go into 2 or 3 homes behind the hill area. So then we drove up behind the hill area into another neighborhood that backed up to the homes that Diana, my Bloodhound, wanted to go into. Luckily, someone was standing out in the yard. Some of this does take luck. And I always tell Annalisa, I'll take luck over skill. Backed up, a person was standing out in his yard from one of the yards that we needed to get into that went down the hill into one of the yards that Diana wanted to go into below. Well, it was so steep that we couldn't do it, but luckily we had an area search dog. So an area search dog can work off leash, and the owner just guides them where to go, and then they look for evidence, and they'll come back and tell you, okay, there's evidence. Like I could not do that with my Bloodhound. I couldn't even get down the hill.
Right.
Slide down. So Annalisa took her dog, her area dog, off leash. He went out and he alerted, and that's where we found the remains. But without get into that home, that person was standing out there, so that was luck. Without having an area search dog, I don't have an area search dog at this time. We wouldn't have been able to find it. So it wasn't impossible, but that was a very hard case. I remember I told Annalisa right away, it's impossible. And we were able to bring closure.
Oh, but that must be so disappointing when you just find remains and then you have to go tell the person.
Yeah, very.
Oh,
it's hard. It is hard. I deal with a lot of it's post-traumatic stress,
yeah.
for me, and a lot of grief, unfortunately. But that being said, a lot of people let their guard down, and they know there's coyotes, and they let their cats and small dogs out unattended or just to roam around the neighborhood when there's coyotes or owls or bobcats. I mean, we live in the Wild West. Even the residential areas, are full of predators. So
yeah, our cats have always been indoor.
Yeah, so I've
dogs
learned
too.
you have to really watch them. Now, some people are like, well, we're taking that chance. We want the cat to be outside and live a life. And I go, okay, so you do take that chance.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that we were able to bring closure. Closure is very important, even if it is not a good thing with remains, or because closure, the people are so grateful because they were looking for 2 weeks and I had no idea. I was basically right behind their home on the hill.
Yeah, well, at least they know, right?
Exactly. They have closure. So
have you ever been asked to track down a pet that was supposedly stolen?
Oh, all the time. But I'm not a police. That would be a matter for a police officer,
right?
And the private investigator. But we can't use the search dogs. It was just stolen right from the house and driven away in a car.
Right.
Now, said though, a lot of people say their dog was stolen, yet the dog had no ID on and they let it roam out, or it got off leash or something. And I'd say 50-50 it's really stolen.
Oh, really? Yeah, it just ran away.
Yeah, or someone rescued it, a good Samaritan, and there's no ID. How are they going to return the dog? How are they going to know where to return the dog to, or the cat?
Well, that's true. Yeah, if it doesn't have any ID on it.
I know. So then you immediately think that the pet was stolen.
Do you say that? Do you say, are you sure it was stolen?
No, I just ask if they have ID and a microchip and the circumstances, obviously if the car window was broke out and, someone took the dog from the car, or, I asked the circumstances and I ask ID, and then a lot of people think about it. They're like, okay, well, maybe not. I don't say, are you sure? I just try to interview them and make them think about, did it really happen or not? And some pets are definitely stolen. Definitely.
Have you ever recovered one of those?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you have?
Absolutely.
A stolen one. Wow. How can you do that if they are actually stolen?
Well, we put pressure on the neighborhood, put pressure on the neighbors. There's certain ways you can do that. So it's, create an advertising campaign, offer a large reward, keep pressure on.
Smart. So do you ever work with the police department?
I have trained with some police officers, but I have not worked with them. several years ago, I was called out to locate a bomb detection dog that the police had lost. No, no ID. And those dogs are worth
No
several.
ID?
So they know about me, and I was called, and I have been referred by them. So I went out, but luckily before I got there, they had recovered the dog.
Oh, well, that's good.
I have trained with many police officers, but I haven't worked cases with them.
Okay. And do you ever work with animal communicators or pet psychics?
Not with them, but I will pay attention to what they have to say. Like the owner will call a psychic and then tell me, and then they'll give me the transcript of what was said. Now, I used to work with one with a dowser, but unfortunately she passed. So I haven't met one that I'm familiar with or that I know really well.
Okay.
Or some of them are very credible and some aren't, just like anything. Check references.
Okay. I know a good animal communicator I can tell you about if you want. She does things online. And I interviewed her if you want to listen to it. I can't remember which one it is, but I'll let you know later if you want to listen to it. It's pretty interesting.
My friends ask me if I know anybody.
Yeah, yeah. And then do you ever use drones?
Yes, we have used drones before. I don't have one, but a lot of times the clients will have one. Or sometimes when we were being filmed for a TV show or a segment of something, the news people or the people that are filming us will have a drone. So I have worked and am familiar with them, but I have enough to do with the dog, with the search dogs.
You're like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, but the drones they can definitely be a good tool, just like the search dogs.
So have you been on TV shows before?
Many times.
Oh, really? Are they local or?
I've been on, Animal Planet and I mean, every local news station there is in California, Palm Springs, Orange County, San Diego, many magazines. I've written books about my dog. Other people have written books about my dog, Glory. I've won 2 awards for my work. The Bloodhounds have won awards.
Tell me about your new book. What is it called? And tell me all about it.
Well, I'm thrilled. About 3 years ago, well, actually by now it's been 5 years ago, my main bloodhound, my first bloodhound, Ellie, died. And I really wanted to commemorate her somehow. And I'd never written before. I'm not a writer. I am now. But I told Annalisa, I'm going to write a book about my adventures with, her and I, and all of our adventures. And I took some classes. I went to some writing seminars and writing conferences, and 3 years every day I wrote, and it took me a year of rejection, and I finally got my book published by Austin McCallie. It's called The Bloodhound Handler, Book 1, Adventures of a Real Life Pet Detective, and it's on Amazon paperback for $17.95 or Kindle for $4.50. And it's got pictures, and it's a very good read. Obviously, I don't think they would have given me a publishing deal. It's a really good beach read. It's a fun read. It's an exciting read. It tells you about the dogs and some of our cases, and some famous cases we had, some famous people. Of course, I can't mention their real names, but
that's too bad.
Yeah, some stories are true, some aren't, some are made up, and some are combined. So I combined with truth and made up. So I call it faction. Instead of fiction or nonfiction, I call it faction.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I think it's gotten a lot of good reviews already. So I'm very excited about that, because it was, writing is one thing, but then the whole other aspect, as you might know, is trying to get a publishing deal. That's almost impossible, especially when you're not already published or you're a little bit older. Like I say, I had 1 year of solid rejections, and I reached out to everybody.
Good for you.
Yeah, so finally I'm pretty excited about it.
So you didn't let the rejection stand in your way.
No, you can't.
Good for you. I love that.
Yeah, so I'm halfway through book 2, but book 1 is a good read. So anyone that wants to buy it, again, just go on Amazon. You can type in my name. I'm right on Amazon.
Okay, and I've got it in the show notes. And so how many books will there be?
I'm planning 3,
Okay.
halfway through book 2. So I'm planning a 3-book series.
You probably have enough material for 10 books.
I do have a lot of material. I do have a lot.
Wow, that's a lot of work to write a book.
It is a lot of work, especially if you've never written before. I didn't realize what went into it.
It's a lot.
Not, yeah, it's a lot. You have to show, not tell. So you can't say like Ellie Mae worked good that day. You have to say what she looked like and how she worked and what she was with other people and the surrounding. It's very involved. I mean, and the gestures of different people, and it's involved. I did not realize it. It took me 3 years. So, and that was writing every day. I don't think I ever missed a day.
Wow. So you just don't have any spare time, do you? You're either writing now or you're out searching.
Yeah. Well,
And you
right
get
now,
up at what time do you get up?
for a search, in the summer, I get up about 3:30 or 4 in the morning.
Oh,
It's a little bit cooler out. I'll still get up about 5 because I just want to be there early and avoid traffic and dog walkers and believe
how often do you go on searches? Is it like once or twice a week or more?
it depends. At least twice a week, sometimes more if it's cooler out.
Yeah.
The weather really dictates. I mean, I like to work in a little bit of rain and wind.
Yeah.
Which
That's a lot more comfortable.
hardly rains in Southern
I
California.
know.
But it is usually, at least in Southern California, it does cool down early morning. Very rare is it warm in the morning. So I do have that going for me because I know a lot of places just they're not cool in the mornings.
Yeah. Now, how far do you go if someone calls you? Like, do you have certain boundaries that you
Yeah.
won't go past?
Right now, I used to travel to San Diego and up north, but another issue is that my pet sitter of 17 years has moved to Massachusetts. So I don't have a pet sitter right now, and it's really hard to have someone you don't know to come into your home with the keys and do your other pets that you've left here. So right now I'm doing about an hour and a half from my area each way, north, south, east, and west. I can go as far as north, southern Orange County or Santa Barbara. You can go north to Santa Clarita or Valencia up there. I can drive about an hour and a half each way from Los Angeles.
Are you in the valley?
I'm in the valley.
You are. Okay.
Yeah. So, I used to travel and do overnights and do several days at a time. But again, we had the team and I had my pet sitter here. So
Okay, so when you take a dog out, you don't take all the dogs out. You just take out one at a time.
for the search, yeah. But to go, I bring all the dogs in my car with me. I bring the team in the car, but I have to leave the ones that aren't part of the team at home because I've got a couple old ones and chicken and cats, so I can't bring them.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell us about your book?
No, just to say Landa Coldiron is on Amazon. It's a great read. It's a big novel. It's very interesting, and it talks a lot about the search dogs and a lot of my cases, and very entertaining. You'll laugh. There's parts you could cry, and it's gotten about 400 reviews already. So they're all
that's great. That's a lot
of reviews.
Good for you.
It's just, and like I say, it's just a fun read.
Yeah.
And something you might learn something.
Yeah, and people can find you on Facebook and where else?
Yes, Lost Pet Detection on Facebook and Instagram. It's the Bloodhound handler at the Bloodhound handler. And then each of my search dogs has their own Facebook page too. So you could go on Lost Pet Detection Facebook, and then Glory, the main Bloodhound who just passed away last year. She was the one that won the American Humane Search Dog of the Year for 2015. So she's got a huge following. I think 17 or 20,000 people at this. So she's got her own Facebook page along with Diana and Apple May. Those are my other two bloodhounds. But you can find that, I believe, on my Lost Pet Detection Facebook.
I was going to ask you, when you're not out on a search, what time do you get up?
Well, it's hard. It's 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to
7.
make sure sometimes you maybe slept in past like 4.
Yeah, I try. It's hard though, because once you're used to getting up that early, and then I get up to, I just walk the dogs or train the dogs early in the morning when it's so hot. But it's been too hot. I can't even do that. So
Yeah.
kind of been a boring August.
Yeah. Well, that's good, right?
Yeah, I'll take the downtime to heal and to regenerate and, to get healthy and stuff like that.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of lost animals out there. So
Yeah,
it's probably good if you don't get called a lot, because that means there's less lost animals, maybe.
I don't, the statistics haven't changed much in 10 years. It's since I've been doing this 17 years, it's about 10 million pets go missing in the United States each year. It's shocking.
That is shocking. Really?
Yeah, that means 1 in 3 will go missing. I've had my pets go missing in my lifetime. I've had 2 cats and an iguana go missing. I found them, not with the search dogs. This is before the search dogs, but yeah, 10 million pets. And it's so preventable. That adds to the shelter, to the euthanasia rate. And a lot of it, I'd say 92% of that is preventable. But the statistics are not changing that I can see.
Well, before we go, can you give us any tips on how to not lose your animal? Do you have any advice to give? Please give it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm extreme. Keep in mind that I'm extreme because I've dealt with this now for 17 years and I see people and their grief, and it really hit home. So what I do with just go with what I do with my dogs. I always tell people, what would I do if it were my dog or my cat? I have an embroidered neon collar with a phone number that you can see at a distance. They're anywhere from $8 to $18 on Amazon. I have a GPS tracker. So I have 2 collars. I have a GPS tracker. I use Pet Tracker. It's an app that you just press on the app and you can see exactly where your pet is. I like that one, the Pet Tracker, because it's made in the United States, not China. And it's a good product. It's a backer product. So I also have a microchip, which a lot of people think a microchip is a GPS locator. It is not. A microchip has to be registered and you have to have somebody scan the chip, which is over the dog's or the cat's neck, usually if it doesn't move in the body. So GPS, microchip registered, and current photos of all the dogs and the cats. I make double sure. I have a big property. So 2, 3, 4 times a day, I will double check that the gate is locked, that the fence line is secure, that the animals haven't dug under it from the predators or my Jack Russell. I don't just hand the gardeners or the poolman the keys and just come in whenever you want. No, don't ever do it. Don't do it. That's when a lot of the pets will go missing. The pool people or the Department of Water and Power or the gardeners come in.
Yes,
or
that happened to our next door neighbor. That's what happened.
Yeah, and maybe
they're frantic, trying to find the dog.
Right, and you can't do it. You can't. I would never do that. Okay. You don't leave a small dog unattended. You don't leave a cat roaming outside unless it's just feral or you're just willing to lose it. Even in the most residential areas, there are coyotes, at least in California, they're everywhere. If you're going to have a party and you're going to be drinking or something, and your dog is shy and skittish, you have a skittish cat, lock it in a carrier and put it in a room, put it in a crate, and lock it in a room with a lock on the door. Know who's coming over to your home. Obviously the 4th of July is the worst, and the month before nowadays, that's when most pets will go missing. And
what about pet sitters?
You've got to know your pet sitter. That's why I haven't been traveling the past 2 months, because my pet sitter, like I say, moved. And I haven't been able to find anyone. A lot of pet sitters, they won't take responsibility. I've had vet offices, groomers lose the pets and they don't take responsibility. you just have to treat your dog and cat like it's your child, like it's your baby. Are you just gonna, let your baby with anyone or leave it unattended in the yard? I think you just have to be extra aware and extra careful. There are opportunists that will steal your cat or your dog. That does happen.
Yeah. And I get worried that they'll leave the door open and the pet will run out.
Right.
My cat is an indoor cat, but she's trying to be an escape artist for some reason. She's a rag doll, so she doesn't ever go outside. But she keeps standing near the door, and then she'll run out, and it's like, no. So
Yeah.
I'm worried that if we had a pet sitter
That
and they don't
happens.
watch it, the animals escape.
Right, which does happen. Every third call of mine is about a pet sitter, unfortunately.
Really?
Not good. You can train your cat not to go near the door. You get a bottle of a sprayer with water, and when she's heading to the door, you want to spray her chest, not her face, but her chest, and you leave the water bottle by the door. They don't like that. That's how I train my cats. None of them will go near the door.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Have a cattery. I mean, I don't know how big your property is, but a lot of people can build their own cattery. Like that's what I have on my property for the outdoor cats. They're outside, but they can't get out. They're in a contained cattery with air conditioning and heating and.
Oh, with air conditioning and heating?
Yeah, air conditioning here.
Are you talking about like those kitty condos that are,
yes,
they're big time now, but I didn't know they had AC and heat.
Well, no, I had to have it built in. I mean,
I love it. That's great. They must be very happy at your house.
There's a lot you can do to prevent your pet from going missing. But the main thing, if you're only going to do one thing, for the love of God, have ID tags, which I don't even like the tags, and they can get ripped off easily. But minimum ID tags on your dog, and not a license. That is not an ID tag. A license is not an ID tag.
Right.
Because without it, you're screwed. Trust me. You're 17. Again, American Humane and Home Again, a microchip company, said about 17% of dogs that go missing are recovered. Now, that's low. I don't know if that's with or without ID. They didn't make that clear. And then it's even lower for cats.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
And then again, they end up at the shelter, euthanized. That's happened to several people I know. They got there too late.
Oh no. Oh, that's terrible.
Turnaround times some are 3 days, some are 5 days, some are longer, but unfortunately they have to make their quota to euthanize the pets. It's horrible.
Oh. Well, I'm so glad that you're able to help people find their pets. That's wow. What a job you have. People are probably so grateful to you.
Oh, I've had some people that are angry. They don't like the result, or it's not what they think is going to happen, or they're in denial. I'd say 7 out of 10 people are in denial about the remains I've found, unfortunately.
And they're saying that's not mine.
Yeah, that happened times last week. Oh, I have forensics available though. They can always get a forensic test. I have that available, but they haven't opted for that at this point. But it was guaranteed it was their pets. So.
Oh my gosh.
But wow. I don't argue. I just present them with the evidence, and they can process it how they want.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for coming on the show today. I so appreciate this. I cannot wait to get this out there. And I think it's going to help a lot of people.
I hope so. I really do. I don't want the pets to go missing. It's horrible.
Yeah. I'm going to put everything we talked about in the show notes, and all of this advice you've given, I'm going to put it as tips in the show notes. It's really going to help a lot of people. So thank you.
So
I hope you have a great day. I'll let you go back to your animals now.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.